you one thing, if a little green man pops out of me, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe.
Welcome to the Strange Podcast with Sam and Logan.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome to The Strange Podcast. This is episode 36, and I'm Logan Marks.
I'm Sam Baxter. Today is June 29th, 2018, a day later than normal.
Oh, yeah. Today's Friday. Well, yeah, I was out of town. So I had to...
Oh, yeah? You do anything fun?
We went to the big city.
The big city? How was the big city?
It was pretty good. We saw some museums and just hung out, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah?
You know, a little kind of vacation from work because it's been pretty hectic. So it was kind of nice not having to do anything. And just
walk around, enjoy the sights or whatever.
Yeah, just eat all the crappy food that I could.
Yeah, did you get anything good?
We went to the Cheesecake Factory, which is always been my favorite. One of my favorites anyway.
Did you get the nachos there?
No, I didn't. Are they good?
Yeah, the nachos are pretty good there. I gotta admit, yeah, they do it right. And if you go during happy hour, I think it's like $6.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they give you some good nachos. You could get the chicken on it. I like chicken, but they only offer chicken. They don't offer beef or anything else on those ones. But fuck it, for $6.
That's actually a pretty good price for nachos.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Especially if it's like those big old ones where you're like
it is.
It looks like you have like 5 people can eat it.
You know what? It's not that huge. It's not it's not those ones that are like regular prices, like $18. You know.
I'm not impressed then. I'm not impressed.
But you will be impressed that they're 2,600 calories. So.
Oh shit!
That's more than
that's pretty much
allowance.
What I eat. That's usually my breakfast.
I know. I can't eat that much for dinner. I eat that for breakfast. So you like Cheesecake Factory then? Anything else cool?
We went to the Game Works and
shit, that's still open?
Yeah, they have it where they don't even put coins in there anymore.
Oh, it's just a card?
Yeah, they just have the card, and they have it where you can do it like an hour. Like you could pay.
An unlimited play.
Yeah, you could play as much as you want for an hour and just use a card, which is pretty fun because we were just kind of killing time.
Is there that many games to play though?
Yeah, it's the same old arcade games, but
as they've been there for the last 18 years.
No, they have some newer ones, but it's just I was hoping they would have like some of the older games. Like I was hoping they would have Joust.
You know, they used to have that when it first opened up, like in the early 2000s. Oh, they used to have Robotron. Remember Robotron?
Yeah.
Oh, I used to play the shit out of that. Or just Defender or whatever, Asteroids. They had all those games there. None of those are there now?
The only one that was there was Pac-Man. but you know, they didn't.
And it was broken.
And it was broken. They actually had 2 of them.
2 Pac-Man? Did they have a Miss Pac-Man?
Yeah, and they had a lot of... I was surprised at how many Tekken games they had.
Fuck. People still play Tekken?
I guess.
I used to like it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to like it, but it's not really my thing anymore.
I remember we used to play a shitload of that, like Mortal Kombat.
Now, the 2D games, I can play that forever. The 2D were where it was at for me. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. That's all me, man. And Street Fighter. Remember Street Fighter 2?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was badass when that came out.
Yeah, they had a couple of Street Fighters there. That's why I ended up playing those and some of the Pac-Mans, and then.
Did you play like Street Fighter 4 and 5?
No, just it was. I think they just had 2, but they did have 4 and 5 there.
Well, people usually still play those. Were there people there playing them?
Well, it was the middle of the week, so there wasn't really a lot of people there.
Gotcha.
So you know,
and it's probably the middle of the day too.
Yeah, so I mean, we played like the air hockey and then and stuff like that, and then went to a couple things. We were just kind of killing time until we wait for the transportation to get to the other side of town.
Oh, I gotcha.
But yeah, it was
then the nightlife.
And the nightlife.
Debauchery.
That was pretty much about 8 o'clock. We were fucking dead.
Oh, were you?
Because man, it's hilly over there. So
yeah, there's a lot of hills, man. You gotta be careful.
And I'm used to walking all day, so I was all right. But
really?
My wife and kids, they were dying.
Oh shit!
I just a steady pace the whole way, and they're like following me. It's
like,
slow down,
break time. Like, we just got started. Ain't no breaks.
That's your fault for having a desk job, you lazy.
Yeah, no shit. I can I can agree with her. I can see where she's coming from. Desk jobs fuck you up, man.
They say like it's not really healthy to have a desk job. Oh, it just said like it creates like poor circulation in the legs and because you're sitting for long periods of times and it's pretty unhealthy. They say.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if you don't go out and walk, because there's a lot of rules they have you do. You need to I think it's like every half hour you should look away from your screen. You should stand up and walk around for like a minute or two. Don't just stay sedentary the whole time. Mm-hmm. It's hard to do though, because once you get in there, the lazier you get, the easier it is to just stay there longer. Yeah. Like at first, like if you're used to like walking around and you get a desk job, you can be like, man, I got to get up and move around. But the longer you stay there and sit there and get lazier, it gets easier to not even get up.
Y'all job the hut, just like
basically you can. It's possible. But you try and go outside and get a walk in, something like that. It helps. But otherwise, yes, I totally get it. You can get stuck in the desk job and you just fucking legs go to jelly.
Oh yeah, cause I've had desk jobs before, and I don't know. They're okay, but I like the idea that I can move around more.
Oh yeah, the day. No, I'm not gonna argue with that. That's totally good. But what's funny is when I used to move around all day and I used to install a lot of stuff like cables and all that. It's like fuck, I wish I had a desk job. It's like, fuck, this is fuck this shit. I'm right now. Yeah, I'm working like a damn motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Like just. All the time I'm just always out doing something and this sucks. I fucking hate this. It's hard on my body. I'm always up and down on my knees to get down on the floors and run cables and
see that would kind of suck if you have to like crawl under spaces and do that. I wouldn't want to do that.
It is a little bit tough. It is. And like I said, but again, if it's not that bad, maybe if you're
in a building job, and you walk around where it's air conditioned and stuff, I don't mind it. I just don't like to have to sit for long periods of time. Because since I started my new job, like I've lost like 20 pounds.
Oh, nice.
I feel way a lot better.
Yeah. You feel like $1 million, huh?
$1 million.
You gonna join the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic? You gonna bodybuilding?
Not that good. I want to take steroids.
No, that's all natural. That's all natural.
It's all natural. Natural steroids.
Yeah, natural steroids. Yeah. So I saw on Netflix, man. You see that Glow season 2? It just came out.
Yeah, it was
the first season.
Yeah, the first season I really liked. I hope the second season is just as good.
I saw the first season and I don't remember what happened at the end.
So, I'd have to rewatch it too because it's been such a long time.
Yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a year, yeah. So I'll have to watch it. I just remember liking the action and the drama, and the chicks were pretty good too. So
yeah, that wasn't too bad. It was amazingly. It wasn't too bad. And I remember. Do you remember the show Glow when it was wrestling when it was on when we were kids?
I do remember it. Like I never watched it, but I remember it being on.
Yeah,
I remember like seeing like advertisements for it, or every once in a while I'd catch an episode.
Yeah,
or they'd wrestle. Like they have they have like another show that like a documentary on it, which was pretty good.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think I saw it on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but when I watched it, it was pretty interesting. Like they showed like the real women and they talked about like all the stuff they went through and all the things that happened while they were doing it.
Oh really?
Yeah, interesting. It's worth a watch.
So did Vince McMahon own that too, like he did on the WWE?
I don't know if Vince McMahon owned it or not. I'm not quite sure.
You see, speaking of Vince McMahon, you see how he's you see how the XFL wants to come back.
Do you remember that? Yeah, I remember the XFL.
Yeah, and it's coming back, and McMahon he's expected. He committed to spend $500 million on the XFL. Really? Yeah, man. He wants that shit to come back.
Wasn't that like indoor football?
Somebody told me that. I thought it was outside.
Because I remember for a while, like indoor football was like getting pretty popular. And
it's indoor football's still on. It's still on.
Is it? Because I remember like a lot of places were doing it. Like I remember like local towns were doing like the indoor football. But they would start like leagues, but they never really got anywhere. It always died out.
Like, it would always fold or something.
Yeah,
yeah. I remember guys like that I played high school like football with, and like that must have been their life. Because I remember like when I used to be on Facebook like 8-10 years ago, they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm joining the local team." Mm-hmm. It's like, it's like, okay, that's fine. You know, is that like an extra hobby or for exercise? And they're like, no, man, I still want to go pro. It's like, man, you're like 32. You're gonna go fucking
30,
pro, man.
You're 35 with bad knees.
Yeah, exactly. A bad back. You can't see right anymore. You got one glass eye. You want to be quarterback?
I'm still gonna go pro though.
I know.
I think I can do it.
I'm training. I've been training every day. Fucking weigh 400 pounds, guy. What do you do?
400 pounds.
It's like, fuck. So, I mean, you know, that's fine. I mean, if you want to do that like an extracurricular, you know, like say you're in good shape, man, more power to you. But I don't know, man. I don't know about this XFL. I mean, I'll probably give it a shot. I'll probably check it out. I didn't watch the original one. Did you watch it at all?
I remember seeing it sometimes. Like I said, I'm not a big football person.
Yeah.
A sports person either.
Yeah, that
but I know it seemed interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I might give it a chance. I hope it's not like a lot of drama like wrestling, because to me, that'll turn me off.
Oh,
I'm not into like the soap opera type stuff. You know, where they have the stories that are like soap operas and
all behind the scenes.
Yeah, I don't really care for that.
Yeah, we'll see. If it hasn't, maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like that. It's just not for me, man.
I need football with drama. I need some drama.
I know. I want them to fight with their wives and stuff. That's what makes it real, man. You know? So yeah, I think that's supposed to come back, and I think he's supposed to, like I said, drop 500 mil. So I guess it is possible to waste money.
All right.
It is possible to waste a lot of money because if that shit doesn't work, man. I mean, that guy must have billions. If 500 million would be a drop in a bucket for him.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it failed before, so I don't see why it would fail again.
Well, it's gonna be successful this time.
You never know. I mean, shit.
It could be.
It's a different time, you know. How long ago was that? Was it 10 years ago?
No,
that was even more than that.
I think it was longer than that. It was probably like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But you know what might work? I just thought of it right now is because, you know, a lot of people are kind of disgruntled with the knee. The people taking a knee in the NFL, they might turn to that. So this might be the perfect time. Just saying. It's possible.
I don't know. Most people are really, I don't know. Most of the kids, the younger kids, really aren't really getting into football anyway, the way they were like when we were kids.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So like I could see nobody really caring about another league, you know.
Maybe it's possible. Who knows, man? It might just take off, or it might just be again another fucking another defunct league in the States. It's possible, man. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fucked up stuff, we should probably go on to
the news.
Strange news. All right. Well, let's do this. So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we'll be ready for some strange news.
It's time for strange news.
So here's this weird one, man, that I came across. So this it's not really weird. It's kind of funny. So you know, like in the movies, they have that movie called that Tag. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I guess this American woman flew 4,000 miles to the UK to tell her pal, "You're it," in their epic game of international tag.
She flew across the country.
Yes. She flew across the pond, across the Atlantic to go to the UK. Fucking get her pal and tag him and says, "You're it, guy."
And that was it? Just took off?
And she fucking got back on the plane and left. Came back home. She didn't want to miss any work. So
that's fucked up.
So the guy was stunned because his brother and sister were in on it. She did it at his nephew's christening. So they were having a christening, and everybody was in on it. She had contacted all of them and told them about it, and they were like, yeah, go ahead and come do it. So she acted like she was a gardener, and they were taking pictures outside, and she had her back to them, and she was like gardening, and the photographer who was in on it, he's like, hey guy, you know, the guy's name was Drew, and they told Drew, hey Drew, go tell the gardener to get out of the way, you know, he's gonna fuck up the picture. So he went over there like, hey, can you move? And as soon as the gardener stood up, it was a girl dressed as a gardener and said, "Tag, you're it, motherfucker." so she got him. He was stunned, like, what the fuck? Like, so they started this game her and them two and like 8 others who they all met by chance in China in 2014, and they've just been playing this game ever since.
So is the movie, is it based on these guys?
I don't know. You know what? If it is, then it is. But this girl, she did it. She went on the weekend on a Saturday. She came back by Sunday, so she wouldn't miss any work. So,
man, that's fucking dedication right there.
Yeah, and Drew's pissed because he feels betrayed. His family betrayed him. so Drew's not happy, man. Drew's like, fuck. You know, they fucking all conspired on me.
Well, so now he's got to do that shit. He's got.
Yeah, now he's got to go get someone. And the thing is, like, they usually like meet somewhere and do it, kind of mess around. But she upped the bar because she flew over in one day.
Yeah, no,
did it, and then
nowhere
like,
safe.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, it's nowhere safe now for that guy.
Exactly. Well, now everybody's got to have the guard up, right?
Yeah,
it can happen to any one of those 8. So
you're all in a public bathroom taking a dump, and all
exactly.
Someone slides in,
yeah.
Fucking taps your leg.
Excuse me, sir. Can I get some toilet paper? Yeah, here you go. Just reaching under. You're it. Maybe they'll wipe some shit on their hand at the same time. But they're it.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. It seems kind of fun, but expensive to do, too. So what do you got?
So I got a white South Carolina woman hit a black teen as she booted him and his pals out of a community pool. There's a 15-year-old boy and her friends were at the pool. They're just hanging out. And this lady, 38-year-old Stephanie Sebi Streppel, comes up to him and she's like, they have video of this. She's basically going up to the kids like, hey, you guys need to leave. You guys need to get out of here. You guys are a bunch of punks. And she starts
were they
yelling.
Doing anything bad?
No, they were just there, just hanging out.
She just wanted him out?
She just wanted him out. She started yelling racial slurs and calling them punks. They called the cops. The cops came down and when they after all is said and done, they're figuring, hey, these kids were just here, you know, and they're not doing anything. They're not disrupting anything. While she was yelling at them before she called cops, she was hitting them. She hit one of the kids like across. Yeah, she hit one of the kids across the face like twice.
Holy shit.
But, you know, he wasn't seriously injured. But, I mean, she was just being a fucking bitch because, you know, there's somebody there that didn't look like her.
Damn, that's fucked up, man.
So, yeah, she was charged with a 3rd-degree assault and 2 counts of assaulting an officer. Because when the officers got there, she was all like, you know, why the hell you know, like, why aren't you guys doing anything? And so she was getting out of control. She was, like, pushing the detectives and stuff and just getting all crazy. So they
was she
cuffed
on
her. Yeah. I don't know. Didn't say anything that she was. She was just being a bitch.
Damn, that's a ultra bitch, man.
I know it's like that lady over there. That lady that was all that there's that black family that was just having a barbecue.
Oh, in Oakland.
Yeah, do you remember that one? I think we talked about that where she was like on the phone. I'm gonna call the cops. You guys aren't using the proper, you know.
And then she was all
techniques.
acting like she was being, you know, like they were all attacking her and stuff, and she was all
because the cop got there and she's all like she starts.
No, she was on the phone. She was on the phone with the 911 dispatch, and she was all acting like she was like
the victim,
fearing for her life and stuff.
Yeah, because when the cops got there, I remember she starts crying. She starts crying.
Yeah, she was doing it on the phone too when she was talking to them.
Yeah,
she was acting like oh my god, you got to get down here. I'm fearing for my life.
Yeah, and then like there's another one. I think it was like last week or something where
the young girl selling water.
Yeah, she was just selling water, and she calls the cops saying that they're like disrupting the area, or she didn't have a permit and all this stuff.
That's right.
I don't know what the hell is wrong with people.
What's going on?
All crazy.
Yeah, it can't be as crazy as this next story. Is this guy? The police they caught this guy who basically had a camera in his shoe, and the battery blew up. Now the camera, you wonder why he has a camera in his shoe, is because he was planning on taking upskirt videos of ladies.
That's what I thought as soon as he said that. Yeah, it's like the only reason you need a camera on your shoe is like you want to go take.
Yeah, he was just gonna like walk up to ladies, get by them, and take pictures up their skirts. So the battery in his camera blew up. So the cops, like, you know, since it kind of blew up, the cops, you know, came and checked it out, and this 32-year-old man, you know, he had to turn himself in to the police, but he wasn't arrested because he actually didn't have any pictures on there.
Okay, well, because it blew up.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, there was nothing on the hard drive, right?
Oh.
He was going to, but it blew up before, right? So there was no pictures on there, so they couldn't charge him with anything.
Oh man, thank God they got that fire from the.
Yeah,
but saved him.
He was, But he was counseled for his actions, so I'm sure that the cops gave him a good talking to, like, hey, motherfucker, like if you do this, you can get, they press some charges on you. So, who knows if this guy will do it? But in this Wisconsin guy, this 32-year-old guy, hopefully he learned his lesson before it got too out of hand. So if that's not a sign, to stop doing it, I'm not sure what is.
It's a sign from God.
Yeah,
put your foot on fire.
There's other ways to look at naked girls. You can go on the internet.
I don't understand why you would do that. You have like so much access online with porn and stuff.
I don't know.
Like, why? Maybe it's just a thrill of like, oh, you're doing something bad or something. I don't know.
Like it's an amateur. maybe it's like some woman that's like a real just a girl next door type neighbor, girl, versus like somebody professional. Some people prefer that.
Oh, you could type in girl next door and they have plenty of.
I know that. I know, but maybe like you said, maybe it's a thrill of him doing it himself.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. I just don't get it. But
no, neither do I. I don't get it either. But this guy, man, he had the fucking camera built into his shoe. So I remember.
Seems like it's too much effort.
Well,
look up skirts.
I know, right? I mean, remember that old show Get Smart? Remember that? That main guy, Maxwell Smart. He used to have a fucking phone on his shoe.
He has this shoe phone.
Yeah, shoe phone, and this fucking guy's got a camera for looking up skirts. Man.
Well, he's a secret agent then, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, some people are really intelligent, really talented, but they use it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, they don't have common sense.
I don't know, man. This is their common sense. So anyway, hopefully this guy gets stopped, man. He doesn't do this anymore.
Well, speaking of things getting caught in camera, there's this guy in Horn Lake, Mississippi. He was basically he was in a Home Depot and he decided that he's going to steal a mini fridge. So he grabs a mini fridge, takes off right into the parking lot. He's going to try to jump it into his car, right?
Okay.
But he didn't realize that he didn't measure it. So when he did try to stuff it in there, it wouldn't fit in the car. So he decides to jump in the car. He grabs the mini fridge with one hand outside the window, and he just peels off, right?
Okay. What is he driving? Like a CRV? Like,
it was like a small sedan. So
yeah, shit.
So he's driving, right? And this guy has a footage on his car footage. He's watching the guy drive across in front of him. It just looks funny because like the mini fridge is like scraping on the road while he's like driving up. Well, he's driving off trying to get away, right? It's all you can see like the sparks because it tore through the cardboard so quick, and then so like the sparks are just flying off the fridge.
Oh shit!
So like he's driving and he's getting nowhere with it because it's the fridge is too heavy for him to carry it. So he ends up. The guy ends up like a couple blocks down. He stops. Luckily, the cops stopped him, but.
Why didn't he have a truck? Why didn't he have
I know you think you can steal something that big. You might as well.
He could have had a Camry, something that's like a little more room in the back, right? You remember those Honda CRVs, right? How small they were.
Yeah, they're all tiny.
Yeah. I remember I used to work with a guy, man. He had got it for free, and because I guess it didn't work. And the CRV, it was like a real bright red one, and he was like a big guy. This guy was like 6'4", and he weighed like 400, 500 pounds. And so when he got in it he barely fit, He was so and so somebody at work, the other guy at work used to say that he wore the car. It's like, what do you mean you wore the car? It's like that car. It's like a shirt. Like he puts it on and it barely fits.
He's like a transformer, all inside it.
He's like, that fucking car is so small that guy barely fits in it, and it's like he's wearing it. Cars are so small. That guy was so big. So that's why I was thinking when you said he had that fridge, he had a CRV, because those things were small, man.
Like a little Pinto, like the Ford Pintos.
Yeah, it was something really small, really stupid. Well, speaking of, this is a little bit weird. I haven't heard of this. I know a lot of people have gods and have beliefs and all this, and I'm not shitting on any of that. But this Indian man, he worships Donald Trump as a god.
Ooh, the orange god.
Yeah, he worships him, man. He's a diehard fan of him, and he carries pictures of him around. He stops and prays
like Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. he He spent the past 2 years worshiping Trump as a god, carrying a picture of him around, and praying to him several times a day. So this guy, near Hyderabad, ever since Trump, kicked off the "Make America Great Again" campaign, he's been in love with him. He's been like, "Oh my God, this guy's a god."
Wow.
So yeah, he's got a shrine of him and everything. The problem is, whatever. People believe whatever they want. People can worship whatever they want, right? I mean, India is known to have many gods. But the weird thing is, they have so many gods. And I used to have friends. I do have friends, but I remember I learned a lot of it when I had friends that were Indian and I used to hang out with them. And they said there was there was tons of gods. But for some reason, the people around him don't buy into that. And they told him they think he's mad and he needs to visit a psychologist. Because they're not feeling it. But he told them, quote, "I don't require any. Maybe you should go because he is my God and I am not bothered about stuff others say."
Well, it's no more different than like Scientology.
Exactly. So more power to this guy, man. If you want to have Donald Trump as your God, more power to you, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, theoretically, he has more power than any other god.
Yeah, than any other known god. Yeah, you're right. So this guy maybe be onto something, right? He says this guy feels him in his heart. He says that he's his God. He feels him in his heart, and like I said, he has no problem worshiping him, and he doesn't give a shit what anybody else says. So, like I said, more power to this guy.
Hey, if that's what he wants to believe,
exactly.
It's not hurt nobody.
Yeah. Hey, more power to you, guy. Maybe Trump will invite him to the White House one day, and he get to meet him. That would probably make his life, man.
Feel Trump right in the pussy.
Yeah. Well, remember that one girl? Didn't she say that pizza was her god, and she took a picture on her driver's license of that or something? Do you remember about that? So some girl she said that was her religious right.
I heard there's the flying spaghetti monster.
Flying spaghetti monster?
Yeah, where this guy, he was able to wear a pasta strainer on his hat during.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Maybe I was thinking the wrong thing. Hey, man.
Because he was a pastafarian.
Is that what he is? Hey, you know what? If you're gonna take these religious aspects way out left field, then go ahead, man. They're allowing this shit, so that's what it is, man. That's where we're at in this lifetime.
I got a story from Newport Richie. A woman, Christine Victoria Mittler, 39. She got summoned to jury duty. When you get jury duty, you have to go into the courts and stuff. And when you do, they usually have the metal detectors. So she goes through the metal detector. She forgot to take her keys out. Mm-hmm. So they're telling her, okay, you're gonna have to go back and take everything that's out of your pocket. So she does, and she ends up pulling out about 0.6 grams of cocaine.
Oh shit!
some straws and methamphetamine.
Oh shit!
So
this lady forgot she had coke.
Yeah, she forgot she had some coke in her
meth. Holy shit!
So instead of doing jury duty, she's gonna be on her own trial. They took the drugs from her and she was taken to the Pasco County Jail.
Oh shit! She was doing her civic duty and she got busted.
She got busted. Man, why would you go in there with fucking drugs in your pocket?
The bad thing is, maybe she just forgot, and I'm only saying this because
you've done it before.
Yeah, I got caught with angel dust. So. No. I got caught with Viagra. No, it's like 2 pounds of it in my pocket.
2 pounds. Shit.
I just can't get enough of that shit. I love it. No, but there's been times where I went to a sporting event, and I usually carry a small pocket knife in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I usually do that, in case I need it. I don't know. My dad usually did that, and he always. I just kind of do that.
Yeah, I was the same way. I grew up. You always had a pocket knife on you.
Yeah.
You have to cut stuff.
And I still do. And I still do that. And so there's been a couple times where I went to a game and I'm like, oh shit, I can't be caught with this. So the trash can, I've dumped pocket knives before because I don't want that to happen. Yeah, I don't want that because they'll usually tell you. I've had it happen before, and they'll be like, you need to take it back to your car. And when you're at a sporting event, going back to your car is another mile away.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's not convenient. So In her case, I would have fucking went back. I would not have emptied my pockets. I would have fucking just went back.
I was like, oh, hold on, I gotta go to something.
Yeah, I gotta go take a shit and then flush it. Something, man. I would have not done that. But I'm just saying, I do understand when people forget things because, like I said, I have had a pocket knife in my pocket. And I know it's not a big deal, but nowadays it can be treated as one. So, lady, you fucked up on that one. So I have one right here.
Okay, we'll do one last story.
Yeah, one last story. This one kind of fucked up guy. In Germany, this man believed to have killed 21 coworkers by poisoning their lunches.
Holy shit.
So a 56-year-old German man was arrested after he was caught putting a suspicious powdery substance in the lunch of a colleague. So the officials say the unidentified suspect is believed to have killed his coworkers over an 18-year period. So, and going back using an investigation, they're saying that 21 employees at the same company have died of heart attacks or cancer before they retired.
Really?
Yeah.
So like he just slowly poisoned everybody?
Yeah.
Like he went in there to put shit in their lunches?
Yeah. And they found
that's crazy.
Yeah, and they went to his apartment. They found like toxic chemicals.
How did he get discovered?
Somebody saw him like putting something in. One of the colleagues. Yeah, somebody actually finally saw him doing it. Like, what are you doing? Like why are you? That's my sandwich. What are you putting in my sandwich?
Just some extra mayo.
Yeah, I know. Some sugar.
Some sugar, make it sweet.
Yeah, some powdered sugar.
Just like you, sir.
Yeah, but 21 people over 18 years. Can you believe that shit?
Well, I've heard of like nurses where they,
they've killed patients. People. Yes,
where they give them they give them drugs and stuff, and they end up just like getting heart attacks.
Just psychos, man.
Yeah.
I mean, now who knows? This guy, I'm not saying he's not a psycho, because I mean that's pretty fucked up to do that. But I mean, yeah, like the nurses, you hear of them, like it's like a power thing for them. Like they like watching the people suffer, right? They like
it gives
they like watching
they have, like,
them.
This God complex,
exactly.
And they control people when they can die and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's so crazy.
I know, man. That's horrible.
That just makes I don't want to leave a lunch in my
at your work. I know.
In a break room anymore.
I know. I'm going out to lunch. Fuck, man. I know. That's crazy. You can't trust all that open shared space now. I mean, it's fucking 21 people over 18 years, cancers and heart attacks. Give me a fucking break.
Did you say what he was putting in there, or
they don't know? Just some toxins.
Oh,
yeah, it's unidentified substance right now, but they found toxins in his apartment. So he was putting shit in that wasn't fucking. It wasn't sugar. No, he was not making that sandwich any better.
I don't know. Nowadays, sugar's pretty bad for you. They say it's pretty toxic.
I know it is. I get that. It's pretty addictive.
So it killed them all with diabetes.
I know. I know. That's basically what it was. Yeah. They all died of diabetes for some reason.
Got diabetes.
Yeah, and they worked. The ironic thing is they worked in a gym.
They kept working out. They still got fatter and fatter.
I know. They just kept gaining weight. All right, so should we get to our strange stories?
All right, well, let's get to the main topic. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll get to
scary clowns.
Scary clowns. Oh,
yeah, man.
Scary clowns.
That's what a lot of people say. We'll talk about it.
All right, we'll be back.
Alright, so one movie that I always liked, and I saw it a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if you remember it. Do you remember the movie Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah.
Remember that from like the 80s, the late 80s?
Yeah. Well, remember I told that one story where that clown followed a kid, and you were talking. We talked about the. I had never seen it.
Okay.
But I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah. So I was watching that again because it's a cult classic. It wasn't real popular. It was one of those lot of 80s movies that were like really shitty that never really did much unless you were like a fan, right? You saw it and like, oh shit, that was funny, kind of like Ski School and stuff like that. Yeah, it's
kind of like a cult classic.
Yeah, like Meatballs, stuff like that. So yeah, I was watching that and I was thinking, man, these clowns are fucked up. And I started thinking, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that cult phenomenon, the clown phenomenon that happened a few years ago. Mm. You know how all these clowns were appearing like out of the woods, or they were saying they were by schools or parks and stuff like that. And
yeah, that was really big a while ago.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. Like I think it was like 2016.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, and I remember like I know somebody that at work at one point they had told me about that. They were from the East Coast, and they were telling me that something had happened once like with their daughter. And I was like, oh shit, like you gotta tell me about this. And this was a couple years ago. They told me this person doesn't work with me anymore, but she was telling me that a couple years ago her daughter, she used to walk home from school, and the school was about a mile away from their house, but it was they had to cross a field to get there. So half a mile was in the field, and then the last half was just residential. And she would meet her friends there because they lived at those houses that were on the way. So she would walk with her friends half the way to school and half the way home, right? So one day as she was leaving and she was, coming home from school, she, said goodbye to her friends and she started making her way to the field. So the field had a lot of like bushes and brush and, they were pretty high and stuff. And she was just walking through, and it was pretty open in certain spots. So as she was going, she was walking and she had her tunes on, she said. She was about, maybe 3/4 of the way through the path, and all of a sudden, like, she came to a part in the music where the music just stopped. It was between songs, and she did that. She heard like some loud thumping. She was like, "What the fuck is that?" And she took her earbuds off, and she could hear it. And she turned around, and she could see this big fucking dirty fat clown running after her. From behind. Yeah, he was scary. Yeah, she was like, and he was like, he had his hand over his head. He had like a Bowie knife, and he was coming after her. And she was like froze for a second. And as she was coming closer, she was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go." Like
not today, sir.
Yeah, so she fucking booked it out of there. And as she did, she ran she was getting close to the houses. And like I said, he was a fat clown, so he wasn't able to catch her too well, right? He was coming, and a couple times she looked back, she could see he was getting winded,
Slow down, little girl.
Yeah, wait a minute. This is too hard. Let's make this a little bit closer. So he was getting winded, but she was still freaking out as fuck. So, so she ran. She made it to the first house, and she looked back again, and he's still running. This time, she could tell he looked pissed, and he was like he'd got a second wind, and he was coming up. He was sprinting as fast as the fucking fat guy clown could run. So she got to the house, and her house was like the third one in. So she ran to the front yard, because if he was running to the back, he would have saw which house she went into. So she ran to the front, made her way to the house, and she looked, and he wasn't there yet. So she ran inside, shut the door, locked it. Now, luckily the parents, they always kept all the curtains drawn. So she looked out her front window to see if he was maybe out there. She looked out, she waited for like about a minute or two, and nothing. She didn't see anything. So she made her way to the back of the house, and she got to the back door, and it was a glass window. And of course the curtain was drawn, luckily as well, because when she got to it, she kind of looked to the side, it's the side door. She looked on one of the side curtains, the little peephole, and when she did, the clown was standing right there. He was trying to look in the other portion of the window.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was at her door and he was trying to look in, and she like wanted to scream. She got to cover her mouth. You're like, oh my god. And so he was there for like maybe about a minute, and she just like crouched down and like couldn't do anything, just freaking out. And after about a minute or two, he took off. He went to the next house over. So she knew that he didn't know where she was, and he was like, it was still like only like 3:45, 4 o'clock, and a lot of people weren't home yet. So he was checking through all the neighborhoods. But luckily, he eventually like took off, went back into the field, and she called her mom. Mom told her to call the cops. Mom came home and stuff, and the cops told him. She found out. The mom told me that I guess that clown had assaulted somebody a couple weeks before. They were trying to find where he was and catch him, because he had assaulted some kids before. He had cut a kid. The kid got away. It was like a teenage boy, but the boy like fought him off and got away. But they were still looking for the guy, and he was never caught. And then she ended up moving out of there like, fuck this.
Oh, that's crazy. And they never caught him, you said?
As far as she knew, like the cops never got back to him and said, hey, you know, we found the clown guy. Mm-hmm. You know, he's in our, you know, he's in our custody. Nothing like that. Yeah, as far as she knows, he's still on the loose out there.
Oh man, that'd be fucking scary.
Yeah, but after that, she said she just drove her daughter. You know, her or the husband would drive the daughter to school and back. She wouldn't walk home anymore.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, that's understandable, man. I wouldn't do that shit at all. Some of our stories, you know, I got you know, some of the from the user submissions. I got a couple stories about that. That one was somebody that I knew. This is a couple stories that people wrote in. So this first one was from Javier. And he was talking about this crowbar clown. That's what he called it. So this is his story. He's saying when a few years ago, during all the clown sightings occurring, he says I didn't know what the big deal was. He said I was almost 18. I felt like I could take on a clown if I saw one. You know, I wasn't worried about a clown. You know, fuck him, right?
Punch a clown.
Yeah. So he walked to school in the morning. You know, it was 6 a.m. Still dark because it was like fall. So it was dark at that time, and you know, he carried a flashlight, you know, because his way to school, not all of it has street lights. It was certain parts that were pretty dark. So, as he was walking one time, he got to the part where it was kind of dark, and he heard like a twig snap behind him, and he looked back, and he flashes his flashlight, and he was by this part where it was woods, and all he saw was the woods. Didn't see anything. He just kind of watched it for a second, and he's like, all right, maybe it was, you know, an animal or something. So he just kept walking, and a few more steps later, he heard another, this time he heard like a tree branch snap. So he turned around again, and he thought he saw somebody like jump back into the woods. He was like, well, maybe it's like some homeless guy or something around here taking a leak or some shit, you know, maybe some druggie or something. He's like, oh, fuck, I'm not gonna deal with this. So he started walking again, and he was getting to a part where it was like a train railroad crossing. And as there was a train coming. It was early morning. It wasn't like carrying a ton of cargo, but it was coming. You know how in our old town we had that train station. Remember you talked about that train wreck? Oh yeah. The person getting run over by the train. So it was, it was something like that. The trains don't go through there very fast. It's not like an Amtrak or anything. It was a slow,
slow moving
train. And it was a slow moving train. So he said he was coming to the railroad crossing, and he decided to just wait, and he's like, fuck it, I got lots of time. I'm just going to fucking play some games on my phone and, just going to lollygag, text some of my buddies and stuff. So as he did that, he was just waiting. He started hearing some footsteps from behind him. So he turned around. He's like, what the fuck? And he said, I nearly pissed his pants. He said there was somebody in a clown costume with a crowbar in his hand and a balloon in the other hand. And the guy was just standing there looking at him with his head tilted. And he was like, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, he yelled at him, what the fuck you want? And the clown just let go of the balloon and started running at him. So he said, yeah. And he looked back at the train, and the train was starting to get closer. So he said, fuck it. And he ran across the tracks, and he beat the train. So he didn't know if the clown had made it across the tracks as well. He didn't want to look back, so he just kept running. Yeah. No, he just it's like, I'm out of here. He just kept running.
I wouldn't look back either.
Yeah. So he said he just booked it running. He made it to the first convenience store that was open, and he went in there and he told the employee there, was like, hey man, fucking clown, was chasing me and all this shit. He told him what happened. The guy just laughed at him like, yeah, whatever, And he said he just kept looking out the window to see if he would see the clown, but it never waited. It never, he wasn't sure. It was still dark, and he couldn't see the clown, but he wasn't sure if he was still out there, in the darkness.
Oh yeah, if he made it even past the train or whatever.
Yeah, he didn't know any of that. So he said he was scared. He waited for over an hour until the sun came up, and then that's when he ran to school. And he said he got to school late, and his teacher didn't believe him. They all laughed at him too.
Nobody believes him.
Yeah, he said nobody did. All his buddies were laughing at him, and he goes, I don't know, he says, I don't know if one of them was pranking me or not. He goes, all I know is I just feared for my life. He's like, I thought I could take on one of these fuckers, but no. He's like,
not when they're running at you with a crowbar.
No, yeah. He's like, nope, I wasn't dealing with that.
So nobody ever saw this clown?
No, the clown just gone.
That was just it, right?
Yeah.
That was a one sighting, and no one ever saw him again.
Not that one. Yep. If they did, if there was another one, maybe he changed outfits.
Oh.
But no, not until whatever he knows, that nobody ever said anything about that. There was no police reports or anything.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it could have been a one-off, or the guy was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna see if I can get somebody," or maybe he knew that kid. He saw that he would walk to school every day, and he decided to just ambush him. He doesn't know.
I mean, yeah, it's because like that one time where all the people were dressing up as clowns. It could have been just somebody trying to scare people.
Could be, yeah. He said it could have been my friends. He said the way they acted, they were just laughing at him. So he's like, none of them admitted it if they was them. He says, all I know is that I was scared shitless.
The end.
Yeah, the end. So this other one was, I thought, a little bit creepy. This it was just called, this person Jane says it was a clown invasion. She says, I'm a 35-year-old with custody of my young daughter. Said problem started when when she was really tired in the mornings. She was always tired at breakfast, and Jane would ask her daughter, like, hey, what's wrong? Like, why are you so tired? You went to bed like at 8 o'clock last night. 'Cause she was real young, and she's like, yeah, I couldn't sleep. Scary man kept coming by, and she's like, what do you mean? What scary man? She's like, I'm not supposed to talk about him. So she's like, no, why don't you tell me about him? I want to know what you're talking about. And because she thought maybe it was like in her dreams, imaginary friend, something, kind of off like that. But she says, no, mommy, when I'm awake, he shows up and he talks to me, and he tells me stories and scares me, and I'm afraid to go to sleep. So she thought, like, what the fuck? So she went in her room and checked around, seen if anything was off, under the bed, closet, all that stuff. Nothing, all she found, like, some blankets that she didn't know where, she had put in the closet before, and she thought they were still there, but they're under her bed. So she was like, maybe the daughter got him out or something. But she said, hey, let me know if if he comes back, let me know. And she says, okay, but he won't like that because he told me not to tell anybody about him. So she was kind of, unnerved about it, a little scared and stuff, as a parent would be. And so she decided to put in some cameras. So she put a security camera on the front, facing the front door, the porch, the back porch, and one inside the house, and then one that was outside that was facing her daughter's window, like that area. So she forgot about it for, a couple weeks. And one day the daughter was really tired again at breakfast. And she was like super tired, couldn't stay awake. So she said, hey, what's going on? What's the problem? And she tells him about the scary man and that he's mad. And she asks why. He says, well, because you put cameras up around the house. And the little girl goes on to tell her that he looks even scarier now. He's mad. And so the mom's like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? So she's like, I need to check out the camera footage and check out the last night activity. So she rewinds it back and sees around 9 p.m. there's a man dressed up in a clown costume walking up to her window. And,
shit.
And he uses like a kitchen knife to pry open her window and climb in. And the mom's like, what the fuck? And she goes back further in the tapes and sees that he's been doing this every night. He's been coming every night. And he shows up right at...
But he doesn't, like, wake her up every night?
So he goes right after the mom tucks her in. So she's still awake. So he comes in, like, right after, 8 o'clock. And he leaves by 5 a.m. so that the mom, when she comes in, she doesn't even know he was there. But that night, she checked last night's time, and he came in at, like, at like 9 o'clock, 8, a little bit after 8 o'clock, and he left at 10. He didn't stay the whole night. And she saw that he went, he saw the cameras on the front porch because like, he was up there like trying to steal like some blanket that was on one of the chairs out there. So he saw it and he asked the little girl. She asked her like when he comes in, she said that he tells her scary stories and he sleeps under my bed. And he had told me that if I ever told you that he would hurt you really bad and me.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so she says that he asked her about the camera out in the front. The clown was asking her, when did you get that camera? How long have you had it, etc. And the little girl says that there's one in the back door too, and there's one facing her room. And as soon as she told him that, she said he freaked out, and that's when he left right at 10. You know, that's why he left so quick, because he knew that he was on camera.
That he got caught, huh?
Exactly. So she gave the footage to the police, and so far she says that there's been no arrests. The cops are looking into it. She said she changed her windows to like double window panes, and she took a gun safety course. She says if he comes back, she says, I'm just gonna shoot him.
I know, just going with a fucking shotgun, wait by that window.
Yeah, she's like, but he might not come back now because he knows that there's a camera.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? He's like, well, I'm not gonna take my chances anymore. So luckily, I mean, the mom never looked back for the 2 weeks, you know, until the daughter said something.
Yeah.
Because she might have known, and then she would have, you know, caught him.
So was he going in like every night?
Yeah, he was going every night, and he was.
But he wasn't waking her up every time, was he?
No, because she had barely, like, the mom had just tucked her in and left, so he would go in, and like if she was asleep, he would wake her up. If not, you know, he would be like, you know, tapping on the window, and waking her up right there, or keeping her awake, and then he'd just come in, and he would like threaten her, tell her, you know, I'm gonna if you say anything, I'm gonna kill you and your mom. Or I'm gonna hurt you is what he would say. He didn't kill, but he said he was gonna hurt her. Mm-hmm. So the little girl, you know, she's really 6 years old. You know, what is she gonna? She's scared.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty creepy.
Yeah. So I was like, man, that clown's got balls, and thankfully he didn't kill the girl. You know, because I know, because I think that would have been really horrible. And we, you know, not to totally digress, but you know, we've heard about people, you know, kids being abducted out their bedrooms at night and stuff. That would have been pretty bad. That would have just been the worst.
Well, I wonder what he wanted, just to scare her. Because I mean, the guy.
It seems like he was like I'm wondering if he was just like homeless and he needed a place to sleep.
Oh, he was just trying to sleep in that bed.
Yeah, and he was like, "You better not tell anybody. If you do, I'm gonna fucking, you know, I'm gonna kill you. I'll hurt you." That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Like, I don't know why he would come in there. Like, what gave him the balls to start showing up in her bedroom and start like?
Or even why he would dress up as a clown to do it.
I don't know. Yeah.
Know? Unless he's like trying to like, you know, so the girl doesn't get as scared or something, or maybe
maybe
like,
that.
Oh, it's just my clown friend or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Or you know, he wants to keep his identity, concealed.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Because I'm gonna get to a story later about that. So this next story I have is this guy, Mikey24, writes, "Stupid scary clown." So he says, my buddy and I were going to binge Call of Duty all night. So we were hanging out playing, and about 2 a.m. they ran out of Mountain Dew and some snacks, and they said, "Fuck, let's go walk to 7-Eleven and go get some more stuff to eat and drink." So they were 15 and they were pretty tough, you know, and they thought, it's me and my buddy, no one's gonna mess with us. 7-Eleven was 4 blocks away, but and from 1 block from their house to 7-Eleven, there was like a park on the left. And about 3 blocks in, there was an abandoned house on the right. So those are relevant. So while walking and just talking about Call of Duty and women and stuff, his buddy, they were talking and he was talking. His buddy kind of elbows him and says, "Hey, take a look at the park." And they're right next to the park. And so he takes a look in the park and he can make out a figure walking towards him from the park. And they watch, and he stays. Whatever the figure is, just stands out of the street lights. You can't see his face or his body really. So they're on the side of the park. So I said, let's cross the street and just keep going. Like, fuck it, if there's somebody there, we don't want to mess with them. Maybe we're not as tough as we think. Let's just go. Yeah. so they cross the street and they start going, and they just keep watching back. And as they do, then the guy finally comes out of the shadows, and it's a tall ass, dirty looking clown. And him and his buddy just stop and look at him. They're like, "What the fuck? Like, we've been hearing about these, and we've never seen one." And for some reason, and he says for whatever reason, his buddy just yells out of the blue, "Go back to McDonald's, Ronald."
Nice.
Yeah. So with that, the clown fucking just starts sprinting after them. And they're like, "Oh shit!" And so they start running, and they're like, so that they're running. They can hear the guy. They look back every time they look back. He's getting closer, right? Because he's a tall guy. He's got long legs.
Yeah.
And so he's just gaining on them, and they're getting scared shitless. And they finally make it to 7-Eleven, and when they do, the clown's nowhere to be seen. He's gone. and they're about puke in the parking lot because they're so tired and they're so freaked out. Their adrenaline's pumping, and they're just like, "What the fuck?" And they tell the guy in the store, the employee, and this guy he can't tell. He can tell that they're not joking, so he calls the cops. And about an hour later, the cop comes by, and they tell the cop what happened. So the cop decides, he feels like they're telling the truth and stuff, and says, "You guys are 15, you shouldn't be out. Let's go home." So he takes them, he drives them home, but he says as they're driving home, he looks out at the abandoned house, and by the tree in the abandoned house, he can see the clown standing there, like as if he was waiting for them to come by.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and he can see this clown like waiting there, like ready to spring out if they walk by. So they tell the cop, like, "Oh shit, there's a clown!" And the cop turns around, and when he does, the clown took off in the back. The cop never saw it. So the cop ended up dropping him off at the house, and they just kind of forgot about the incident. Like, fuck, man, maybe there was just some guy playing with us, pranking us. Let's just, they just kind of forgot about it. But then a few weeks go by, and the guy, he forgets about the incident. Mikey, 24, forgets about the incident. But his friend tells him, like, about a couple weeks later that, he's been coming home after school, and there's been like a red balloon tied to the front doorknob of his house.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's like, and he doesn't know what that means. He doesn't know what's up with that. He's like, holy shit!
Maybe get cake and ice cream, maybe.
Yeah, he's just like, does that clown know where I'm at now? And he's scared shitless. He hasn't seen the clown yet. But they're just scared shitless. So like, man, that guy must have wanted to really hurt us. Yeah. And maybe making that Ronald McDonald joke, didn't help.
The clown's all butthurt now. He wants to take revenge on him.
How dare you? I love Ronald. So, talking about being incognito, like I was saying earlier, there was a story that I remember reading a couple years ago. There's been incidents of people dressed as clowns committing crimes. And so, just this little blurb, on May 26, 1990, at 10:45 in the morning in Wellington, Florida, this woman, Marlene Warren, opened her door to find a bulb-nosed clown holding a bouquet of red and white flowers and 2 balloons. The clown, point blank, pulled out a gun and shot her in the face and killed her.
Oh shit!
So, her teenage son, saw the clown running down the street and jump into a Chrysler LeBaron and escape, never to be found. So the cops never knew what had happened. Right? They had no idea who it was. So the husband was suspected. He was a prime suspect, and they searched his office. He had a car dealership, and they found evidence he had tampered with odometers, but nothing, to connect him to his wife's murder. The guy ended up serving like 3 years in prison. But I guess he had also had a 5-figure insurance policy on the wife. But again, they couldn't tie him to her. So they said I guess it came out that him and the wife, Michael and Marlene were having, marital problems. And they were saying that he was involved with the female employee. So, again, they thought, well, maybe she had done something. But they could never prove anything. Well, 17 years later, September 27th, 2017, the woman had been a suspect and the guy from the beginning. They never had enough evidence to charge her. But I guess a new DNA evidence and technology reopened the case in 2014, and they found that it was the woman. That was Marlene. It was the
So it was the husband's girlfriend?
The girlfriend, yeah. They had killed the wife, had shot her point blank in the face. So that woman had been free for, fucking 27 years.
How did they figure it was her?
They won't say. From what I read, they didn't say what had what testing or DNA new technology had done it. But they said that they pegged it back to her and they arrested her. And in her photo, she's all smiling, like all smiles, like no big deal. It's weird, man. That lady looks too happy. And she was married to the guy for, like I said, for a long time. Ever since after he got out of prison, they went off together. And the guy's been kind of off the grid too. Michael. Sounds like a shady guy, but he married the woman that killed his wife. Because he was sleeping with her.
Did he know that she did it, or were they?
I'm assuming so. I don't know that, but I'm assuming he does.
Yeah.
because if he
So
probably wanted out of the marriage, yeah. Even if he didn't conspire, I'm sure she told him, and he was like, you know, I don't know, I don't know, I can't. Yeah, yeah.
Like, okay, whatever you can do.
Now I'm free, you know. Yeah. Now I got this life insurance money, you know, it's 5 figures, and me and you can go off into the sunset and fucking chill. So yeah, I mean, being in the clown suit, you know, it conceals you from a lot of things, right? Mm-hmm. Because like I said, she was free for 27 years, you know, and married to the husband. So, for all they could have fucking disappeared to like Brazil or something and never been found or extradited, even if they did find out it was her. But what I'm saying is that, you know, those clown outfits really conceal you, and people don't know who you are. So you can commit crimes, and you know you can get away with it, even if you're on camera.
That's true. I think you just arrest somebody who looks like a clown.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no way of you knowing who it is, right? Yeah.
Arrest that clown, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go to the fucking circus. Arrest them all. So I don't really know what caused the phenomena to begin. You know, there was no rhyme or reason that I knew of. I don't know if you ever heard anything.
I just think it's like, you know, being dressed as a clown and just walking around is just creepy anyway, and people just started doing it, and it just kind of.
I know, but what caused it all? You know, like why all of a sudden? And now it's stopped. Has it stopped, or is it still going on?
From what I remember, it's like last. I think we talked about this. It was like last couple of years. Just kind of hasn't been that big of a deal.
Died down, huh?
Yeah, because it's just kind of it was a fad for a little bit, and then people probably moved on. I think the big thing was last year because of the new movie, the It movie, where people were like, you know, hanging red balloons everywhere and stuff. But I don't know.
Did you watch the It movie?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty creepy.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I never read the book though. You probably read it, didn't you?
I remember. I didn't read that Stephen King book. I just remember the old TV series. They had not the series, but they had like a.
It was a miniseries.
Yeah, miniseries. Yeah, I remember watching that and thinking, oh man, at the time it was pretty creepy. But if I watch it now, it probably wouldn't be that.
Yeah, it's pretty dated.
Yeah, it's like super.
It's pretty dated. I mean, but you know what? That Pennywise in that old movie was still pretty creepy.
Oh yeah, it was a creepy clown. But like a lot of the
things he did, how he terrorized the kids.
Yeah. Huh?
The way he terrorized the kids was pretty creepy.
Yeah, a lot of the special effects aren't as creepy as I remember them, but it was still a good movie for its time. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I don't know what to. Maybe these clown stories or incidences will die down, and you know, we'll have less people freaked out. But until then, watch your back.
Well, we're gonna end the show on that note. Careful of clowns, or
be careful. Stay away from you kids. Stay away from the circus.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah. Right, if you do drugs, don't go to jury duty with them.
So everyone, have a good morning, evening, or night, and we'll see you next week. Until then, stay strange.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.